Time now for Homeschooled as we're joined by Marc Malusis and Licata. And fellas, we're going to go back to Marcus Stroman and the Mets. He also said, among other things, that he's looking forward to this year because there was a stigma that he was terrible with the Mets back in 2019. So, Moose, will he silence the doubters this year?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I got to be honest with you. I think he was better in the American League than he was here in New York. I mean, the defense is improved behind him. Can he be the ground ball pitcher that was pitching to an under 3 ERA up in Toronto? Marcus Stroman has talked a big game a lot, and there have been high expectations, but is he the same swing and miss stuff that he had earlier on in his career with the Toronto Blue Jays? I don't know if I necessarily see that. I get he's got a personality, and he's going to talk a big game, and he's motivated this year being a contract year, but am I confident that he's going to back it up with a big-time year in 2021? I'm more in the case of I got to see in order to believe it.
Yeah, I understand that. I am buying into him. Look, he's confident, and he's putting more expectations on himself than anybody else could, Moose. I mean, when you talk like this, the bullseye's going to be on you now. He's got to go out there and perform, and I think he will. Contract year, he's got a lot to prove. I don't think he was terrible when he first came to the Mets in 2019, but he wasn't the best of Marcus Stroman, and you could chalk that up to whatever you want, but he was an all-star with the Blue Jays. We didn't see that in his limited time as a Met in 2019. Off year last year. He's mentally ready. He's physically ready. He's got a lot to prove here. So, yeah, I do expect, put it this way, I expect the best that Marcus Stroman has to offer. And he's talked a big game. Now he's got to go out there and back it up, because when you talk that much in confidence, you're going to have a bullseye on him, and I think he does that, but I think he's going to back it up and have a big year.
All right, now, Sal, I know on Wednesday you said you're sick and tired of talking about contract extensions with Lindor and Conforto and the Mets, but then the Padres go ahead and give Fernando Tatis $340 million over 14 years. So how will that deal, you think, impact negotiations between the Mets and Francisco Lindor?
I don't think it should. Now, maybe Lindor's camp is saying, hey, well, look what he got, but the Mets could always counter and say, yeah, but he's a different player than you are. He's 5 years younger. Were you doing what he's doing at 22? So if that were the case, then maybe you would have gotten $300 million from Cleveland. So it's a different, to me, it's a totally different scenario. I know that, and look, there's also other free agent shortstops to be at the end of this year. I know, though, other players are going to say, well, look what this guy got, look what that guy got. This is the ballpark that I want to be in. But ultimately, each situation is different. Each situation has different individuals in it. So I don't think it should impact the Mets and Lindor, just because of what Tatis got from the Padres.
Yeah, it's not like a direct correlation. I agree with you there, Sal. But the fact is, Lindor's going to be looking for a $300 million contract. So, whether it be spaced out over 10, 11, 12, 13 years, whatever it might be, I mean, that's what Francisco Lindor is going to be looking for. He was looking for it in Cleveland. He's going to be looking for it here in New York. The Cleveland Indians were offering him around $200 million. So, I agree with Sal. It's not really the same. I mean, what the San Diego Padres, you look at Tatis Jr., he's really the face of the franchise. It's year one for Lindor here in New York, but I really don't believe Sandy Alderson and company when you say you make that trade and you'd be A-okay if it was just 1 year. You make that deal because you want Lindor to be a foundational piece here for the foreseeable future, and they've got to get that deal done before the start of the regular season, because Lindor has made it perfectly clear he has no interest in negotiating during the course of the season.
For more on any possible ramifications for the Mets and Lindor from the Tatis extension, read John Harper's column on SNY.TV.